Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to go over 8 different strategies to prevent hunger while cutting calories. This should be a real fun presentation. I got about 7 or 8 slides to go through. Plus we'll do a Q&A during the live stream, and we'll do a Q&A at the end of the live stream. So ask your questions. I can pull your questions into this stream so everyone can see them, so we could all learn from each other. So let's go over to the first slide. Let me see, let me click. Okay, so the first slide, how I think you can prevent hunger when you're cutting calories. Because I know it's challenging when you're losing weight and everyone's so concerned that you're going to get hungry. But I find that due to your hormones, if you eat your meals the same time every day, you're going to be less hungry. And let me explain why. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. So for example, I eat my meals the same times every single day. I generally follow like a 16-8 or an 18-6 fasting schedule. I do time restricted eating because I do it pretty much every single day. So say I break my fast every day around noon, right? Automatically, my body will start releasing ghrelin, the hunger hormone, right around 11:45. So I always get hungry right around 12, which is ideal. So, but for example, if I was snacking all the time, if I was eating a whole bunch of meals, my body would be so confused, it would be releasing ghrelin all the time, and I will be hungry all the time. So one great way to minimize hunger, especially when you're cutting calories and you're trying to lose weight, is get yourself on like a feeding schedule like you would feed a child. Maybe if you had a pet, humans, grown-ups are the same way as little kids. Get on an eating schedule. I generally break my fast at 11 o'clock most days. Maybe I'll have dinner 6 o'clock, and I automatically get hungry right before those times. And a lot of that also has to do with your circadian rhythm, your 24-hour internal clock. All right, so if you have any questions about this one, this is a big one. I know it's really hard for people to do, but let me read what's on the slide in case you can't see it if you're watching this on your phone. Try to eat at the same times every day to regulate your hormones. Eating at the same times every day is a powerful strategy to regulate your body's hormones, especially ghrelin, known as the hunger hormone. By maintaining a consistent eating schedule, you can help stabilize ghrelin levels, which can reduce feelings of hunger and also helps manage appetite. There's no question about it. If you start eating the same times every day, you are definitely not going to be as hungry. I just pulled out the comments, so if you have any comments, any questions you'd like to ask, just ask your questions, and I can pull them right into the live stream. Okay, so that's the first slide. Let me go to slide number 2. There we go. Okay, so another thing you can do that's going to help you lose weight. It's kind of interesting too today. There's a little side note. The reason why I'm doing this live stream, generally I announce these live streams like a couple of days in advance. Someone recently, last week, booked a coaching call with me where we do a discovery call. It's a free call with me. Like if you're looking to hire me as your coach, like if you really want to lose weight, you want to get into top shape, and you want to hire me as your coach, you can book a free discovery call with me to talk about your goals in much more detail. And I allot like a half hour of time to go over that. And this person didn't show up. That's why I'm going live last minute like this. Okay, so let's go over number 2. Switching over. I also like to, if you do book a call with me, make sure you show up, for sure. Okay, switch over to a moderate carb, high fiber, whole natural food diet. I also think that really helps with hunger as well too. Just think about it. Out of all the micronutrients, protein, fats, and carbs, those simple carbohydrates like the breads, the rice, the processed carbohydrates are going to spike insulin the most. It's going to rise blood sugar the most. They're high in the glycemic index, and then you're going to crash. So if you're eating these highly processed foods, you're going to be hungry all the time. Plus, these foods are also designed so you're going to be hungry all the time. There's no satiety in them. Let me read exactly what the slide says, and then we'll talk about it more. Okay, moderate carb diets help stabilize blood sugar levels and reduce insulin spikes. That's how you do it. When you eat a big meal, pancreas produces insulin to lower blood sugar. Your body is always trying to stabilize blood sugar. Minimizing rapid changes in blood sugar levels can lead to cravings and overeating. Minimizing processed foods is the key. So that's a definite way to not be as hungry when you're reducing calories. Minimize the processed foods. Minimize those empty calories like the sugary type carbs. Whole foods rich in nutrients and fiber, which slow down digestion and absorption of nutrients, lead to steady release of energy and long-lasting satiety. That's the key. A whole natural food diet, you're not going to be as hungry, even when you're in a calorie deficit. And just to make that clear, if you want to lose weight, you have to get into a calorie deficit. But you can minimize being hungry by following these 8 different steps I'm going to be talking about. Like the first slide was eating the same times during the day, controlling ghrelin. In this slide here, I like a moderate to maybe a low carbohydrate diet. I find people are a lot less hungry. And I'll give you like a personal example of myself. You know, I'm 61 years old now, but I did a lot of bodybuilding when I was younger, in my 20s and 30s. And I ate more of a traditional bodybuilding diet where I always kept protein high, but I did eat a high carbohydrate diet and a low fat diet. Whereas today, I eat a high protein diet still, but I eat a moderate to low carb, and I eat more of my calories come from fat. My body fat levels are really low now, they were really low then. But the difference between then and now is that I'm never hungry now, because I eat a high protein, a whole natural food diet. I keep my carbs low, I eat a good amount of fat, healthy fat. Back then I was always hungry, even though I was able to maintain low body fat levels, because I was eating so many carbohydrates. I was hungry all the time. I was always crashing. Plus my triglycerides, you know, that's one of your cholesterol numbers, was much lower now, eating more of a low carbohydrate diet. Because if you eat too many carbohydrates, the liver can convert those excess carbs into triglycerides. So I think there's a lot of benefits to a moderate carb diet. I know it's somewhat debatable. The main thing though for losing weight is to get into a calorie deficit, for sure. That's number one. But I do like a moderate carb diet. I think it's a great way to eliminate empty calories, and it's a great way to minimize hunger. I'm never hungry now. I was hungry for decades. Okay, by focusing on nutrient-dense foods, reducing the psychological triggers for hunger, and helping you feel satisfied with fewer calories, no question about it. So any questions, guys and gals out there, and let me know where you're from. You're watching this on, I'm going live in a few different places. This is somewhat of a last minute thing, like I said, but I'm going live on YouTube, going live on Facebook, and I think I'm also live on, I might be live on LinkedIn as well too. So let me know where you're watching this from. It's kind of fun to find out where everybody is. Okay, this is a real big one too. You got to get the trigger foods out of your house. If you know what trigger foods are foods that once you start eating them, you just can't stop. And there's a direct correlation between processed foods and trigger foods. Highly processed foods, high in sugar, refined carbohydrates, are engineered to trigger pleasure centers in the brain, leading to increased cravings and appetite. No question about it. If you're eating a lot of trigger foods, you're going to be hungry all the time. Like you eat a couple of Oreo cookies, you won't eat the whole row. Right? You eat a bag of potato chips, you want another bag of potato chips. There's just no satiety in them. When you eat like chicken, fish, meat, eggs, whole natural foods, you're not hungry for hours. So what I would do to eliminate the trigger foods out of your diet is I would make a list. Sit down, take 10-15 minutes, write down all your trigger foods, what they are. For me, they're like potato chips and things like that. I don't keep them in the house. And then just do not keep them in the house. Get them out of the house. Tell your friends not to bring them over, things like that. So you got to eliminate the trigger foods. That would be my third tip. We'll blast through these pretty quick. I'll try to keep this live stream in like under 20 minutes. Another thing I think is a big plus for not being hungry when you're in a calorie deficit is to eat a high protein diet. Out of all the macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbs, protein has the highest satiety by far. You know, you have a nice steak, you have a piece of salmon. You know, you have I just had three scrambled eggs. I had 4 scrambled eggs, actually. 4 scrambled eggs. You're not hungry for hours. You know, no question about it. Protein has the highest satiety. Plus, protein also has the highest thermic effect, meaning that you'll burn up 25 to 30% of the calories from protein just digesting and processing the protein. So there's so many benefits to eating a high protein diet. Plus, when you're losing weight, you want to maintain your muscle mass. Eating protein will do that along with resistance training. Let me read exactly what I wrote down on the slide. A high protein diet is highly effective in managing hunger and enhancing satiety. Proteins are high in thermic effect, right? And its ability to influence several satiety hormones, including ghrelin. Protein-rich foods require more energy for digestion, absorption, compared to fats and carbohydrates. Protein is it just helps you maintain muscle. That's the key. A whole high protein diet is so important when you're reducing calories. Plus, most people who eat a high protein diet automatically will consume less calories. That's what the research is showing, and I totally agree. It's one of the, I think the two most important things to focus on are calories, getting into a mandatory calorie deficit, and then eating an adequate amount of protein. And it minimizes hunger when you're trying to lose weight. Okay, so let's go to this is number 6, okay, which is, let me see, I don't want to make sure I didn't miss one, right? High protein, number 5, okay. This is another great tip. If you know you're going to be hungry at a particular time during the day, you can plan ahead by making an appointment to schedule an activity to take your mind off it. This is what I mean by this. I find when I'm working with a lot of people, I want to coach people online to lose weight. They say to me, Mike, it seems like 3-4 o'clock every single day I just get really hungry, and that's when maybe I grab something that's unhealthy. And I would try to reverse navigate with people and try to solve their problems when it comes to losing weight and getting in shape. And there's certain patterns I see. This is a big pattern I see. It's pretty predictable, the times of the day and when most people will get hungry, because they seem to be doing the same things over and over again. So if you know that around 3-4 o'clock, for example, you get hungry every day, just plan ahead. And what I like to tell people is there are a few things you can do. If you're working, it might be difficult, but if your schedule is flexible, I would say go take a walk. If you know you're hungry every day at 4 o'clock. If you're at home, jump on the treadmill if you're working from home, right? You can make your phone calls on the treadmill. If you can go outside, even better. If you can call a friend. I think it's good for your mental health too, to always keep in touch with people. Call someone you haven't spoke to in a while. Make it a steady thing. Like if you know you're always getting hungry at a particular time during the day, distract yourself. Do a crossword puzzle. Do something. Take your mind off of it. We'll talk about some other hacks you can do too. But if you know any pattern you can recognize in your life, try to reverse navigate it to improve the quality of your life. So if you're hungry every day at 3 o'clock, call someone up at 3 o'clock, go for a walk at 3 o'clock. If you're home, clean the house, do something to take your mind off being hungry. It's going to pass in 5-10 minutes. It really will. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So number 6, drink no-calorie liquids during your fasting window, meaning that, why I brought up fasting windows, because when most people work with me, my go-to diet for so many people, and I think it's one of the most effective ways they get into a calorie deficit, lose weight, improve your health, all that, is only eating 2 meals a day, 2 MAD, with a protein bar, protein shake, or just a protein snack, and maybe you fast 16 hours every day. Obviously, when you're fasting for 16 hours, that's when people generally might get a little bit hungry. But if you're taking in a good amount of no-calorie liquids, it really helps to suppress your appetite, no question about it. I think coffee is a really healthy thing to drink. You can drink black coffee, you can drink green tea, you can drink herbal teas. I drink a lot of hibiscus tea. 3 cups of hibiscus tea has also been shown to help control blood pressure, which is kind of a nice thing too. I think mineral water is a great thing to drink because it's high in minerals. Sometimes it's the electrolytes that you're lacking, and sometimes you're a little low on sodium, things like that. So I drink a lot of Pellegrino water, or sometimes I just take regular tap water or spring water. I put a 1/4 teaspoon of that red Mont salt, like a mineral salt, which is great because mineral is high in magnesium, high in so many different things. A couple of other hacks you can try. Sometimes a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in the mineral water. You squeeze half a lemon in your mineral water. These are all things that really help you curb your appetite. Even if you're not fasting, even if it's in between meals. Like similar to what I said before, if you get hungry 3 o'clock every single day, you don't have time to take a walk, you don't have time to call a friend, you don't have time to distract yourself, take a nice big glass of Pellegrino mineral water, throw a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in there. It's going to suppress your appetite, no question about it. Plus helps stabilize blood sugar. And if you're doing it within your fasting window, don't be concerned about it breaking your fast. It's almost no calories in a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. There's 2 or 3 calories in half a lemon. So I think you're getting much more benefit in eating something bad than being concerned about breaking your fast. And breaking your fast can be somewhat a complex issue. It depends on how you define fasting. When I'm working with people most of the time online, most people are working me to lose weight. So besides the health benefits of fasting, I think one of the biggest benefits is you're just going to be eating less by giving yourself a smaller eating window. So if you take in a few calories from half a lemon or a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, or even if you're putting just a 1/4 of a teaspoon of like half and half in your coffee, in my opinion, you're not really breaking your fast. You may get a minimal spike in insulin. Some people define fasting as like a spike in insulin. Some people define fasting as any calories. Some people define breaking your fast as even drinking water. You know, like true fasting is dry fasting. Ramadan just started, right? Dry fasting. So when it comes to breaking your fast, it really depends on how you personally are defining a fast for yourself. And in my opinion, apple cider vinegar or a little bit of lemon or black coffee, even with a teeny bit of cream, is not breaking your fast. But that's, you know, that's a personal thing. This is another hack that I really like. I'm a big believer in these essential amino acids. You know, just like essential fatty acids, the essential amino acids, these are the proteins that you have to get through your diet for good health. Same thing when it comes to essential fatty acids. You need to get them for good health. When it comes to carbohydrates, your body can always make glucose, gluconeogenesis from non-carbohydrate sources. So in my opinion, it's not as important. What I find is a great hack when you're hungry is to take in these essential amino acids. This is like a supplement. So you can buy this. One of the brands I like, I'm not affiliated with them, is 𝘾𝙊𝘼𝘾𝙃𝙄𝙉𝙂. That's Ben Greenfeld's brand. There are so many different other ones. I know, but Gary Brecker likes Perfect Aminos. A guy, my buddy Chris, who he might even be here, I'm not sure. Chris, if you're here watching this, give me like a thumbs up to make sure that I know when you go live, you show up a lot all the time. But the reason why I like the essential amino acids is it's like eating protein. It's almost like taking a protein shake without the calories or with very little calories. I'll give you an example. Like a whey protein isolate, which is my favorite protein, is like the Rockstar Proteins. Typically has about 120 calories for one scoop, which could be maybe 25 grams of protein. And it's why I like whey protein so much is that it's high in those branched chain aminos. I don't know if you see, I blew it up here. The branched chain are leucine, isoleucine, valine. See the three with the BCAAs next to them? Those are the important amino acids for putting on and maintaining muscle mass, as opposed to taking maybe like an animal, like a plant type protein, which has a different amino acid profile, may not be high in the muscle building aminos. The only downside of taking in a whey protein isolate or even a concentrate is that you're taking in the calories, right? You're getting 120, 140 calories. If you want the equivalent amount of those non-essential amino acids, but you don't really want the calories, you can do an essential amino acid supplement. There are some calories in these essential amino acids, but not too many. Let's see, we got a question. I'm glad we got a comment, because I was concerned that the comments weren't coming in. Let me see if I can pull it in here. There we go. Ace. Okay. Hey, Mike. What's a good protein powder brand to buy? I don't want to go a low quality one. You know, well, first of all, I do like a whey protein isolate. I'll give you a couple of reasons why. See, when they isolate it, that means they're stripping everything out of it. You're not really getting any of your fat. You're not really getting any of the carbohydrates. So, for example, if you were going with a whey protein concentrate, you're going to get some fat, you're going to get some carbohydrates, so the calories are going to be higher. If I went with the concentrate, I would probably want grass-fed, grass-finished. Like, it's all the bad stuff wound up in the fat. You know what I mean? Like, if there is something going on with how they're feeding the cows. If you're going with an isolate, which I prefer, plus I'm lactose intolerant, you know, so it doesn't upset my stomach, they're stripping everything out of it that it is not really as important. Even though when I buy a whey protein isolate, one of my favorite brands is Garden of Life. I have no affiliation with them at all. Why I like them is because if you look on the container of it, they get their they get their milk from the cows in Ireland, which is probably the only place in the world where they can grass feed their cows all year round, 365 days a year. New Zealand's pretty good too. Certain parts of California and the U.S. as well, but it's really hard to grass-fed, grass-finished cows. They have to get them, you know, you get droughts, things like that happen. Ireland, though, they seem to have the ideal weather, ideal climate for grass-fed, grass-finished. And it says, I think what the logo says, it says real. I think it says real dairy on it. If you leave a comment or whatever, I'll send you a link of how it looks. And that's really the highest quality, I think, of the whey protein is the cows from grass-fed, grass-finished from Ireland. And Garden of Life is one of the brands I really like. Tastes great. Yes, though, you are getting like a purist would say, like Eddie Abu, he hates these protein powders. Even though I like Eddie a lot. He's doing so well on Instagram and on all his sites. He doesn't like the emulsifiers. He doesn't like the monk fruit, the stevia. You know what I mean? You do get all that in the brand that I'm talking about. It tastes great, though. I don't think it's so bad at all. And I think the bioavailability is pretty good for a whey protein isolate. So like 120 calories, Garden of Life, you get 25 grams of protein. You get almost 2,800 milligrams of leucine, which is good. Almost 3 grams of leucine, which is really nice. But it's flavored, like chocolate vanilla. It tastes great. I mean, you're going to look forward to drinking it. If you want to go like pure, you can just really get just an unflavored whey protein powder. There's a good one from New Zealand. I can't think of the brand name in my head, but it's on Amazon. I've ordered it many times. But it tastes like chalk, but you gotta just flavor it. You throw some berries in there. If you're making a shake or something, it's gonna taste fine. If you're making oatmeal, you want to throw a scoop of like a plain whey protein, unflavored, something like that. I think that's fine too. The other proteins I like, you can go with a plant protein, but it has to be high in those essential amino acids I'm talking about. Garden of Life makes a good one too, I think. The Garden of Life plant protein. I think they use like beans. They use a combination of different plant sources, so it's a complete protein, high in leucine, high in those branched chain aminos. I like that too. Like I do like collagen protein as well. I know I'm giving you a lot of info on protein powder, but I like protein powders. Like collagen is a great protein powder too, but it doesn't have all these 9 essential aminos. It's missing tryptophan. So it doesn't have the 9. That's the limiting amino acid. It's like almost no tryptophan in it. So even though it's good for your skin, hair, and nails, because it has proline in it, like amino acids that are specifically good for that, I wouldn't say it's a great muscle building necessarily protein powder, but it's good for your connective tissue, and there's so much collagen in the body. It can be kind of complicated. Just think of it, any protein source is going to have a different amino acid profile to it. I know I've been rambling on this, but that's one of the reasons why I like these essential amino acid supplements. You can do 1 scoop of an essential amino acid supplement, which is going to be just like doing, say, a scoop, and these are plant-based. It's just like doing like a scoop of whey protein, but you'll be getting almost no calories in it, which is nice. And I think it's a great way, back to the topic of this whole live stream, it's a great way to curb hunger, these essential amino acid supplements. I've tried it many times. Also, too, if you like to do fasted workouts, I think it's great to probably take an essential amino acid supplement. It just minimizes any breakdown. Like, it's good for recovery. Hey, from Italy. Oh, that's good. Fabri, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Fabri Brusto. That's a cool name. Since I was in Italy twice last year. My daughter did a semester in Rome. Loved it. I was in Rome for like 2 weeks. Had an incredible time. I went off my diet. I just absolutely loved it. Plus, Rome is such an incredible place. And then we went to, I had to go to a wedding. My wife's cousin got married in Tuscany. Incredible wedding. Oh, I just love being around young people. Everyone was in their 30s. Incredible wedding. The food, we just had a blast. I miss it. Me and my wife were just talking about it last night that we gotta go back. But I've been to Italy. I'm Italian. I've been to Italy many times, but I didn't go for a while. But to go twice in 1 year is such a treat for me. But we're planning on going. I think I want to do northern Italy, maybe southern France next time we go. My wife likes France too, a little bit. You have a great... Oh, thanks. People make a lot of... I guess I got a real New York accent. I was born in the Bronx, but I grew up in Yonkers. But people make fun of my accent a lot. So I'm glad people make fun of my crooked teeth. You have to be very thick-skinned in social media, because, oh, my God. There's like a yin and yang, like a good and bad. I'm so excited when I get a video that goes viral. I get like 1 million views. But I know with 1 million views, I'm going to get like 100 insults. It's kind of funny, but I appreciate it. Thanks. Welcome anytime, bud. Yeah, next time I go to Italy, I'll let you know. It'll be fun to hook up with you. It's all local, but we have a lot of family there that take me around and everything. I think someone's going to come stay with us soon, which would be a lot of fun. I think my wife's cousin. Okay, so number 8. Okay, make sure you're eating enough food. This is another big one too, which I find when people cut calories, that's why I prefer that like 2-match strategy, like just eating 2 meals a day and maybe a snack. But when you eat those 2 meals, you have to really eat. You don't want to... What I don't like, and I find, is people who eat a whole bunch of small meals all during the day, even though they're in a calorie deficit and maybe they're losing weight. I find that approach, and I've tried it, and I've tried it with clients over the years. They're always hungry. First of all, you're always spiking insulin, and then you're crashing your blood sugar. You know what I mean? I'd rather people eat 2 good meals, but really eat. You know, if you look at my videos, I've been putting shorts out on YouTube, Instagram, like almost every single day. I think I did one today, though, a little off topic. I did a short. I think it's going to do well, though, because it's just a cute little quick video on how to properly clean your fruit. Because I eat blueberries almost every single day. And I do this little technique where I put the blueberries in a glass of water. Then I put a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, which helps, like the vinegar helps clean the fruit. And then I also put a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, which also helps clean the fruit. And I let it sit for a couple of minutes, and I rinse it off. That's like I think the video's going to do good. I just released that today. But what I typically do with these short videos, that I like to show my meals. Generally, when I break my fast every day, I'll show you my meals so people get an idea of the exact. People like to know exactly, you know, what to eat. And it's like this, but the main thing takeaway from my meals is really the structure of the meals, because everyone should be in a different calorie deficit, or everyone's at different maintenance calories. My meals, my maintenance calories are about 2,300, 2,400 a day. I'm not gaining or losing weight. I'm at maintenance. So I'll eat like an 850, 900 calorie meal. I'll do 2 of those, and then it leaves me like a few hundred calories to have a nice snack in between, like a high protein snack. So when I post my meals, they're about, you know, look at the structure of the meals more. Like a nice piece of animal protein, like chicken, fish, meat. I eat a lot of fish because I want the omega-3s. I just like fish. And then I always have an avocado every single day because I want the fiber, the potassium. Avocados are a superfood. Always have a handful of berries. Eating arugula salad every single day. So if you're a gal watching this, and you're looking to lose weight and you're only eating like 1,200-1,300 calories a day, I want you to have 2 nice 500 calorie meals, maybe a 200 calorie protein snack. If you're a guy like me, or maybe even a bigger guy than me, you know, maybe you want to do 2 900 calorie meals and then a nice protein snack, and you'll do great. So, but what I wouldn't want you to do is just constantly eating those small little 300-400 calorie meals all throughout the day. You're going to be hungry all the time, I think. Plus, it's too much opportunity to mess up and to overeat. So I love 2 MAD, 16-8 2 MAD, 18-6 2 MAD. 2 MAD meaning 2 meals a day. I'm using, like, you know, intermittent fasting, Thomas Eating logo, jargon, I mean. And I always want to prioritize protein. Sometimes it's interesting though. I used to try to limit my protein to only 60-65 grams a meal, but I did a video about it a few weeks ago. A new study just came out saying now you can actually utilize upwards of 100 grams of protein in just one meal. That's really like mind-blowing for a lot of people. I remember for so many years, for like decades, people saying, oh, don't eat more than 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. You won't use it for protein synthesis. It's a waste. Now it really isn't. It seems like you can go upwards of 100 grams, maybe even more per meal. Like the body slows down digestion than using it. So that's what I mean. I think it'll minimize hunger. When you're eating, really eat. You know, have 2 good meals a day, and then maybe 1 snack. I think it's a great way to do it. I lost 2 watching it. Oh, that's great. So you lost about 5 pounds. Fantastic. I really appreciate it. That's what I have to say. You know, it's hard doing these videos, and I crank them out. But every single day, I get, oh my God, I must get well over a dozen people, just like, you know, Fabri he's telling me who, I lost 30 pounds, I lose 40 pounds. You know, it keeps me going doing it. But obviously, you know, this is my business. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing really good with the online coaching. A lot of people are signing up. You know, and you know, I sell 12-week packages, and people are doing really well. And I go live on Zoom every Sunday with everyone in the group. And if you work with me online and you're looking to lose weight and get into top shape, I'm not one of these coaches who's not gonna, like, who's just gonna check in with you once a week. I check in with you every single day, and you know, you'll see if you want to work with me. Thanks for the contact, pal. No, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you showing up to the live stream. Next time I do a live stream, I used to go live on YouTube every single Sunday at like 10 o'clock, and that's when I do my like coaching group now. I got every Sunday at line, but I'm gonna try to pick a time during the week now, as opposed to I did this improv today because I had a discovery call booked and someone didn't show up for discovery call, which happens a lot, but it's really upsetting to me because I really got like a half hour of my day. I normally would charge hundreds of dollars for that, and they get a free call with me to go over their goals to see if they're a good fit for the coaching program. But a lot of people just don't show up, you know, which is, I find really, you know, annoying. So I figure, let me just go live. But I'm going to try to pick a time 1 day a week you know, maybe, well, I'll go live on YouTube, I'll go live on Facebook, and I got a couple of free groups like this. I have my time restricted eating group, and I sell this intermittent fasting course, inexpensive, like $97. So I think I'm going live in my little private group for that as well too. But I'll try to pick a time so you can count on me going live like every week. So I used to have a whole bunch of people show up every Sunday, so I feel bad like I lost track with them based on my only doing my coaching group. But it's a good time Sunday for most people. That's why I did the coaching group on that day. But let's do a little bit of Q&A. Does anyone have any questions? I know we got a few people still here. Any like fat loss, fitness, health questions? You know, like if you follow me, you might know my whole deal. Since I'm 61, I try to specialize in people like really over 50, but really if over 40. So whenever I'm making my videos, whenever I'm talking about my meals, when I'm talking about my workout and exercise plan, I'm always visualizing the person who's like over 40. Like I had 2 videos that did incredibly well recently. One was talking about it, and I try to like catch people's attention with a hook. Like I'll say things, if you're not taking a walk every single day, you're making a big mistake. Like I'll start the video like that. But I did a couple of videos on walking that done really good. See, I personally walk backwards every single day. And I started doing that because I have a bad knee. And I've tried everything for my bad knee. And this young guy, his name is Ben Patrick. He wrote a couple books. He's known as the knees over toes guy. And he got really popular having people walk backwards and doing a series of different exercises that are not typical in the fitness world, because I've owned the gym for 37 years. I've tried every exercise you can imagine, where your knee extends beyond your toe, which does create a little pressure shearing force in the knee, but it really strengthens your knees. But you have to micro progress, like go really, really easy. And I've been walking backwards for about 20 minutes for 2 years now, and it's been life-changing for me for my knee. My knee feels so much better than it used to. I had an operation about 15, 20 years ago, maybe about 17, 18 years ago that with a bad result. My knee never felt good. I was squatting 405 pounds before the operation, and I can't do anything near like that, nowadays. Not that I'm even interested in squatting weight like that, but it'd be nice to squat 2 1/4 for a rep, something like that. But my knee feels much better for walking backwards, so I did a short video on that that did really, really well. And then I personally do think, and I think it's such an underrated exercise, walking in general, for most people, I think it's still the most important exercise you can do when you get older, if you want to prevent aging and getting old. Like the main thing you want to be able to do when you're 70, 80, 90 is walk around. Yes, you want to be able to lift some weights and do some resistance training, but just like in Italy, that's why people in Italy, the life expectancy in Italy is like considerably longer than in the US. And the reason is they're walking around like crazy. Plus they're happier in Italy. I think it's just like their social life is so much better. But everyone's walking everywhere in Italy. You go to the store, you walk home with your bags. Those packages are weights. You get a few pounds of weight in your hand, and you're walking 30 minutes home. I mean, that's how you stay young. Walking is key. I walk 90 minutes every single day. I already walked 45 minutes this morning. I did train my legs today because today I trained my legs on Monday, and I'm going to jump on the treadmill probably right after this live stream and do like another 30-40 minute walk. Okay, let's see. Here we go. I know you focus a lot on high protein content, but how do you see if... Okay, I know you focus a lot on high protein content, but how do you see if I introduce some whole carbs in my diet? No, absolutely. I think you should eat carbs. No question about it. I'll tell you what I personally do, and then we'll talk about this a little bit. I like to keep my carbs and protein about the same. So I take in 150 grams of protein every single day, and I take in about 150 grams of carbohydrates every single day. So that's 600 calories of protein, 600 calories of carbs. And in the carbs, like you're talking about, I try to eat high fiber, healthy carbs. I eat tons of vegetables. I eat a whole bunch of blueberries, maybe too many blueberries. I feel like I'm like a bear sometimes. I eat so many blueberries. And maybe one other piece of fruit. And, that's 600 calories. So that's a reasonable amount. The only thing about carb is that there's no essential carbohydrates, meaning that just like those amino acids I was talking about, there's certain proteins you have to eat for good health, those essential amino acids. There's certain fats you have to eat for good health, essentially fatty acids. The EPA, DHA, those omega-3, like you need to get those fats in your diet. When it comes to carbohydrates, the body can always make glucose. It's called gluconeogenesis. You can convert fat and proteins into glucose. So theoretically, I don't think you should do this. you can survive on an extremely low carbohydrate diet. But it's a delicate balance. I like to use the term, that's why I very rarely use the term low carb anymore. You know, I did keto, I was on a keto diet, I was in ketosis for weeks on end at different times in my life. I dip into ketosis now and then. But I like to use the term a moderate carbohydrate diet. Like, I still like to get that pump in the gym. I don't want to feel flat, meaning that I don't want my muscles to be empty with glycogen. I like the idea of filling my muscles up with glycogen, then depleting them. That's why I'm a big believer in cycling calories and cycling carbohydrates. Right? So I think a moderate carb diet is great. I love that diet. This is like an old Frank Zane diet. You know, my favorite all-time bodybuilder. You can see him. See the picture of him? That's Frank Zane right behind me. He was a big believer too in like proteins and carbs kind of even, right? 150, 150, and then the rest of your calories come from fat. So you get enough carbs to get a good pump at the gym to work out. You're not going too low, but you're eliminating all those excess processed carbohydrates that are going to make you overweight and going to make you fat and things like that. So I do like that. You know, you don't have to go that low on carbs, but you want that perfect balance. Hey, Muhammad, as we got here, I'm starting Ramadan today. I know, good luck on that. It's really exciting. So OMAD starts tonight. Any advice? I'm 43 and a fat and unemployed. Oh, sorry about that. I know. Well, I think this Ramadan, that's why I think it's going to be a good thing for you. You're going to be in a calorie deficit. Eat healthy, tonight. Take in protein. I would say that's the key, because you want to maintain your muscle mass. You're going to probably be in a calorie deficit. I think Ramadan also is a dry fast, right? Like no water or anything like that. And what's it, for 1 month? I think it goes like sunrise to sunset. That I don't know Ramadan all that well, but I know a little bit about it. But I would just say make sure you're taking enough protein. And now, based on that new study that I referenced a little while ago, saying that you can eat 100 grams of protein and you'll utilize that protein. Plus, the thermic effect of protein is really high. So you're going to burn up 25 to 30% of those calories. I would eat like a 16-ounce piece of chicken, fish, and meat to do it like, surf turf. Take in a lot of protein. I would also take in a good amount of fiber. You can have a nice big arugula salad, have a nice big salad with 16-ounce pieces of animal protein. You can do 8 and 8 if you want to mix it up. So some people like to have a little fish and steak. I love doing the combination. Take in fiber, 2 different colored vegetables. It'll be good. Do it. I mean, it's going to help you. And walk. Even when you're fasting during the day, walk if you can. Hey, Robert, how you doing? After hitting a weight loss goal, lost 30 pounds. Oh, nice, Rob. I love hearing that. Can I focus on maintenance calories with intermittent fasting? How much can I eat if I weigh 170 and I'm highly active? Okay, it's okay. I'll give you some general rules. First of all, congratulations on losing 30 pounds. Love it. And the fact that you're really active, I think intermittent fasting is a great way of doing it. And there's multiple different ways you can go about it. First, I'll give you a general rule, and I use it for a lot of people. If you multiply your body weight by 15, that's generally, for most people, their maintenance calories. So let me do it for you right now. So you're 170. 170 times 15 is 2,550 calories. That's a good place to start. I would probably, first of all, I love when people track their calories. Use MyFitnessPal, use Lose It. When people work with me one-on-one and I'm coaching them to lose weight and get in shape, even if they don't want to, I try my best to talk them into tracking calories, because you need the data, you need the information, and then you can make adjustments. Let's say you ate 2,500 calories and you did that for a week and you didn't gain or lose weight, you're at maintenance calories. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is whatever you're eating now, like you're at 170 now, track everything for a week. And say maybe it'll come up, I'll say you're 2,700 calories. I'm not sure how many calories you're eating, but you need the data. Be as diligent as you can. And then you know what your maintenance calories are. And that's even going to change over time depending upon your activity level. But let's say 2,500 calories is your maintenance calories, right? And you don't have to look at it day by day. You can look at it week by week or month by month. So for example, let's take 2,500 calories. Let's assume that's maintenance. Let's times that by 7. So you got 17,500 calories for the week to mess with to be in maintenance calories. Doesn't mean you have to eat 2,500 calories every day. One day you can go lower. Say you want to do an intermittent fasting type thing. Let's say you want to do OMAD, Well, let's say, you really want to eat 3,000 calories 5 days a week, but you don't want to go over your 1,750 for the week. So maybe 2 days out of the week, you're going to do OMAD, and you're only going to eat 1,000 calories. Plus, you get the health benefits of being in a fasted state for 23 hours, right? Like autophagy and low insulin levels, increasing insulin sensitivity. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is you can cycle, right? One day eat 3,000, one day eat 2,000, 3,000. I mean, there's so many different ways of doing it, but it's just a numbers game. So you got to figure out first, number one, what are your maintenance calories? And then number two, what's the best way with your own lifestyle, and you're really active, you're probably working out a lot, how do you maintain, how do you stay in maintenance calories? I mean, what I personally like to do is that I take in more calories on the days I do my resistance training. I lift weights 4 days per week. So today I did legs, tomorrow I do upper body, I take Wednesday off from the weights, I do the same thing Thursday and Friday. On those 4 days, I eat more. But I'm not looking to really lower my body fat right now. I'll probably make a run before the summertime, maybe. I mean, my birthday's at the end of the summer. I always like to get lean and look really good for my birthday, so that's when I really try to go into a deficit and maybe, try to get like around 10% body fat so I really see my abs again, even though I'm like an old man. So now that I'm at maintenance, I'll eat more on the days I'm lifting weights because I want a protein synthesis. I want to make sure I got enough protein and and food to maintain my muscle mass and all that. But then 4 days out of the week, I'll cut back, and I personally do OMAD on Sundays, because if I do overeat 1 day a week, it's most likely Saturday night. I don't drink too much alcohol or anything like that, but maybe Saturday night I may have I may have a little wine, I may have some bread and some fresh mozzarella and some super sal. Like, I love all that stuff. So maybe 1 day a week. We did that actually. Saturday night I might do something like that. I know it's like a high calorie day for me. So the following day I do OMAD. So if you added up my calories from the 2 days, I'm at maintenance. But 1 day I really indulged and enjoyed myself, with the next day I went into a deficit. It just works for me. That's the key to this whole thing, is just figuring out what works for you. And that's why when I work with people online, it's different for everyone. I like to think that I'm really good at figuring out what works best for the individual that I'm working with. And that's the key. And I like to reverse navigate. Like, you can do this yourself. You have to like, when you have a bad day, like you overeat, like, figure out maybe why. It's good if it's planned. I try to plan everything out, but I mean, there's so many different ways to do it, Rob. It sounds like you did great. 30 pounds. I mean, that's a lot of weight to lose. So you did a really good job. Good. Any other questions, guys? We're going to stop at 5, but I got a couple more minutes if you want, and I'm going to jump on the treadmill. So any other questions? Fitness, health, weight loss type questions? I'll give everyone a couple of minutes. I know there's always a little bit of a delay, but like I always talk about it. Also, this is another thing too. The 3 things to always keep an eye on: calories, protein. I like to say fiber. Here's Rob. Let me see. Let me just click your question, Rob, so we can see it. Thank you so much for your answer. Oh, we'll try. Oh, that sounds good, Rob. I appreciate it. That sounds great. Thanks for showing up too. It's funny, when I used to do my set. When I used to go live on YouTube every Sunday, I used to have like so many people would show up. Now I only got like 20 people, which is fine. I'm glad everyone's here. But I'll try to come up with a set time every week, and then you'll see. Like, tons of people will start showing up all the time too. And also keep in mind too, if you want to work with me online, just leave a comment, a coach or something like that. Or even, I think if you go to the top of my YouTube, you can click a link. It'll take you to a different website, and you can book a free call with me. I think the same thing on Facebook. You can click a link and you can book a free call with me. Go over your goals and you see if you're a good fit. It's not a sales call. It's really like an informative call. But you'll see the price of the coaching program too before you get there. So if you think it's just, if you feel like you don't want to do it, you don't have to book the call, obviously. All right, guys. So any other questions before I go? And I appreciate everybody showing up. And, actually, I haven't gone live on YouTube with this. I just updated all my software. I'm assuming everything sounds good and the picture's pretty good, right? Or else you guys would have said something, right? Everything's pretty good. All right, let me give you 1 more minute to see if anyone has any more questions. Then I'm going to jump on the treadmill, which is good. All right, guys, thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. And I'll start announcing when I'm going live in advance, a couple days in advance. So maybe you can prepare for a little bit. But I appreciate you showing up. Good, thanks for the support, and have a wonderful day. All right, take care, guys, gals too.